Hello everyone watching this stream. This is OffNight, also known as Terrence. And with me I have John Lim, also known as Glaciox, and we'll be doing the podcast for today. Okay, so what we are doing for today is we're discussing two topics: what's expected for Worlds and what do we expect for the preseason. So to start off, uh, what was the
By the way,
general?
are you sure? Oh, okay. Demise. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I thought there was some problem with the stream. It's okay.
Yeah, I forgot to change the date. Either
Yeah,
anyway, uh. What was your expectations coming into Worlds?
expectations like winners, right?
Yeah,
So finals would be at least the expected Long Zhu skin, but got Samsung one instead. So it's quite sad. I want the Long Zhu vs SKT finals or Long Zhu vs RNG
Uh, personally, I voted for Samsung, SKT, but
to win.
yes, uh,
Oh,
yeah, they're actually very shaky this Worlds.
yeah, they made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes.
I do agree. But one good thing is they managed to adapt relatively well. Especially what I like is they try to like follow Misfits style of gaming where uh they tried new things. They are willing to learn from other teams, their strategies against there is a little big success because from what I remember, Wolf Blitzcrank was nowhere close to Ignas.
I mean, they probably didn't practice it enough. Like just like 3 games of solo queue, and it's like, okay, let's bring it, let's do it.
True.
And then he just went in thing.
Did create a lot of uh really good plays from there. But what
Yeah,
was
the only thing that worked out was the Leona, honestly. For Wolf.
uh but you did say Long Two was your expected final along with SKT. What do you think happened on there?
It was either a SKT or like some China team. Who was hoping RNG or WE. Only thing that happened was that Samsung just really adapted to the long two play style, and they just had macro game decision making and just shat on them. Like legit 3-0 all the Korean teams.
I think ironically the schedule was a little more forgiving for Long Two. Actually give them a sense of ease where they actually didn't uh in a sense Long Two did not really have any challenge before entering quarterfinals, while Samsung Galaxy was actually the second seed going in, having faced RNG and losing I think both.
Oh yeah, that's true because their long two's draft was like really easy, right? They didn't even lose a single game, so they weren't as prepared as Samsung. It could be like their scrims or whatever. Maybe they weren't having good scrim partners. Like I highly doubt that Long Two would scrim Samsung at Worlds, but you never know. Maybe they did and they just like lost every game. So I mean they got 3-0 lah. Just got stomped.
Uh Honestly I think after game one Long Two just fell flat. They just sort of tilted off. I'm not sure why did they tilt off that badly, but it could be because they are relatively new team. Uh, and there's a sort of weakness in us, and yeah, I think a few analysts have been saying that the jungler for Longzhu is actually not that is their weakest point. as well as the fact that Longsu as a team is relatively, despite having Prey and Gorilla on the list.
I mean, the main reason that they actually beat SKT and got the first seed for their LCK, right, was just because they play around top side and they put Khan on Jace and he just shit on SKT. So at Worlds they didn't even do that at all. So I don't know what was their game plan there. They like kind of cheese their way into winning the finals. But at the big tournament, they just decided to play it like normally. But they still got shit on because they couldn't play the meta as well as other teams like Samsung and SKT.
I think, if I'm not wrong, Jace is the number one ban for against Longsu for Samsung Galaxy.
I'm not sure if they banned it all games, but maybe because I remember there was a game where they actually left it open, but they decided to opt out of picking Jace. Like they just put Khan on more of the um tanks in the meta, like Maokai, Jarvan.
I guess that's sort of in a sense not playing to their win condition, since Longsu is a very heavy on top side, because they like to focus a lot of the resources on Khan.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean they put their eggs in the Prey Gorilla basket, but then it just like broke and it just flopped and died. So they just couldn't play the meta as well as the other Korean teams.
that could be partially because of how they did not have any challenge in their group stage. Because
Yeah, true.
in their group stage they had Gigabyte Marines, Fnatic, and Immortals. I don't think any of these teams were projected to even take off half a game of long.
Well, I mean Gam almost won, but it was like cheese, like extreme cheese. So the other teams just got stomped really hard.
Yeah.
So it was just really easy group for Longzhu. It could be because their group was so easy they really didn't learn anything from their opponents.
I I think one thing Gigabyte Marine bring to the table that might have done something is because they went for the cheesy strategies, they brought in this element where they tried to facilitate the early game, like the 5 minute nocturne ulti and
Yeah.
the lane swap that they did against Fnatic. One of the things it did is it exposed them really hard because if I'm not wrong, Longzu did the NT lane swap strat where they put a deep ward in the two entrances of their bottom side so they could spot them coming out and check whether it's a lane and deal with it accordingly.
Yeah, they also took the blue buff, so no not much of a level 6 rush there. And I don't know what was the point of the Mordekaiser pick. People were talking about like you just feed your ADC a lot and then you just when you out him, your ghost is really strong. But that sounds really autistic and like really stupid, so I don't know if that's an actual strategy.
I think one of the reasons why Gigabyte Marines pull off these picks is they really want what do you call it? They want to abuse it as much as possible because if your opponent doesn't know what you're doing, they can't really counter it. But they play against it pretty well for long too.
Yeah, I think it's just the props to the coach or whoever came up with the anti strategy or whoever remembered the anti strategy in the first place. You know, where you just like deep bot and then you just take their buff and then you dive bot over and over again.
It was pretty sad for Archie. I don't think he actually got a single kill that game or assist.
Yeah, I think Gam only had one kill that game.
Uh, what are your expectations for the non-Korean teams then in the worlds? Because we have been talking a lot on the specifically Longzhu and a few of the other Korean.
Okay, so first of all, right, I like to say NA is a garbage region, TSM is a shit team, and Cloud9 is better than TSM. So first of all, I expected TSM to make it out of groups, but alas, they're just bad. And for China, I expected at least one team to make it into the finals. Like I was really hoping that RNG would be in the finals. I think if it was RNG vs Samsung in the finals, RNG would have won, and then we'll finally have a. I was about to say non-Korean skin, but then we have the TPA skins, so never mind. We got the Fnatic skins as well, but we'll at least have a China skin.
One for every region.
Yeah, except the shit one that's ending.
Oh god. Honestly speaking, TSM was not that bad going into Worlds, but they just completely flopped once they entered. They don't seem to be able to know what they are doing. Uh, they seem to be giving up a lot of pressure without anything about it, and they just get outskilled. Or if I'm not wrong, the games that TSM got their wins was because of Hansa hard carrying their team.
Yeah, pretty much. And if I'm not wrong, TSM had I think the lowest first blood. They had like zero. Yeah, in the throughout the whole tournament, they had zero first bloods.
Oh, there's the Bjergsen and forwards. It it seems to have come up again this year. Well,
I don't know. The team just actually flopped and died. Like the run through NA was really good. It looked really like throughout the finals it looked really good. Like their team fighting was on point. Macro maybe is a bit shaky but fixable, like kind of on point. And this meta is like the hard AD carry meta. It's like you just buy Ardent Sensor on support and just fucking shield that bitch and then he just kills everybody. So it's like the double lift meta. And then at Worlds they just flop and die. And then all the Flash memes come out. Last year it was the Lucian Dash meme. Now it's the Flash meme.
uh, his name has changed from Double Lift to Marble Flip. Just remove both the E and the F from his that point. Uh,
He just became a meme.
yeah. Fortnite on the other hand seems to be they look very good going in play-ins. They were quite decisive, and they actually played really well against EDG and AHQ in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it was. I guess the most surprising thing for me was that ADG lost so many games. They like went what was it? 0-3 the first week.
Maybe it's because they went
So
against SKT and lost with a 10k goal lead, man.
yeah, that's just kind of sad. But I just don't understand how EDG wasn't able to win any games versus like Cloud9 or AHQ. It's just kind of sad. It just makes me wonder why did they even win LPL in the first place?
A lot of people, at least from what I've read online, a lot of people actually looked at EDG and thought they were the weakest team among. They were not exactly wrong based on results, but EDG was a bit lacking there.
I mean, they're just lacking in like the macro department. They just full mechanics, no brain, run into enemy team and just freaking out mechanic them. Team fight, win game, take Baron, end game.
Uh, yeah, that's kind of true. Uh, it does seem that I honestly thought that if EDG didn't flop week one that badly, they would have actually got out of group stage, out of Cloud9. They actually look pretty decent at the
I mean, I've never really watched much EDG, just like WE, RNG. But to me, since EDG was like the first seed LPL, I expected like great things out of them. Like I put them first in the group. Oh wait, no, second from SKT. It was just really surprising that Cloud9 just like beat HQ and EDG.
I watched a bit of the play. It's just what convinced me to put Cloud9 as second place instead of EDG.
I think the Plains is like kind of a bad representation though. Like,
it is sort of true because the teams that Cloud9 has to face are usually uh they're one tier below. You don't really expect much from even though they are best in their region.
yeah, it was Team One and Direwolves. So like, there's not much to expect. Team One actually just like inter. Direwolves had like some form of resistance, but like their mechanics weren't as good as Cloud9. Then Cloud9 just ran them over with early game team comp.
Oh, that's one of the things I like about Cloud9 games and afterwards. They were very decisive as a team.
Oh yeah, Terrence, could you like increase your mic volume?
Okay. Uh, there's I maxed it out for both Discord and I actually have to the mic boosting.
Yeah, just up the mic boost a little bit.
Now?
I mean there's a little bit of static, but I think it should be fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay, since we were on planes, right? Why don't we just go on to the expectations of planes,
Sure.
or like any of the upsets that you think could have happened.
Uh, I
So
believe
do you know the groups?
for planes, right, specifically,
Yeah,
I
yeah, for planes.
honestly I think the upset is Gambit going 0-4 after trash talking everyone. They look
Oh wait, they trash talked everybody.
uh to be fair, Gambit had a really good roster with uh specifically Diamond Prox and Edward from the original Gambit squad, the Moscow 5.
Yeah,
They also put in three members I think from Enox, PvP Stejos, Kira, and Blasting I think came from another team. So okay, two members. The team actually looks very stacked compared, but they went 0-4.
I mean, I think the only reason why they lost was just like the lack of any like tactic or strategy. Like literally watching their games was just pure solo queue. They just pick Kane and we're just gonna invade their jungle. We invade, we try to kill somebody, we don't kill somebody, we fucked. We fucked up.
Yeah. They played hyper
Uh,
aggressive, but they couldn't get
yeah,
anything with it.
it was just like, oh, so bad. Just no strategy at all, no game plan. We just go in, we're just gonna play aggressive. We're gonna kill them. We kill them, we get objectives. Objectives wins us games.
That is a
And
high
it's like,
risk playstyle. You're trying to abuse the fact that you're better than your opponents, but they drew WE, which is they are not better than them, unfortunately, and Lion Gaming, which they turn out Gambit also failed to abuse their skill lead over them.
yeah, I think Lion actually played quite well. Like their understanding of the macro and how to play against, like, for example, the Ezreal jungle, right? The way that Kha'Zix actually pathed around his own jungle to match the Ezreal, which was invading his jungle. I think it's like quite smart, good adaptation. So it could be that maybe their understanding of strategy is just much better than Gambit. WE obviously was much better than the other two. That's why they got through in the first place.
True. The Yeah, I do agree that Gambit has they sort of followed the hyper aggression style that China has, but they didn't have the means to travel to commit that into another league. I think they actually got a small lead against WE in their games, but they just didn't know what to do with it and just keep fighting until they just died.
Yeah, so problem was lack of strategy, lack of tactics, and just no idea how to end games.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to Group B. So it's C9, Team 1, and Direwolves.
Uh, to be to be honest, I didn't really expect C9 to be. They seem to be playing on another level. Like they seem to be improved since the NA finals, I believe. And then they just played very decisive games. I didn't think they would actually lose after seeing their first game where they just consistently applied very heavy pressure across the map.
Yeah, it seemed a lot like they were playing like Gambit, right? But they actually had a game plan. Like they were playing aggressive. They were playing they were just like much more mechanically better than the other players, and they knew how to abuse them. Like play the aggressive style, push for objectives.
Yeah, true. They know how specifically they know how to convert their kills into leads, and they convert that into more leads through either drag objective control or turrets.
Okay, so what about like Team One or Direwolves?
Uh,
Which team would you think? Which team did you think was better?
if I'm not wrong, I've I will put Team One ahead just because of the fact that they were Brazil region against Australia. From what I've heard from the OPL, no wait, the Oceania server to be more precise, is that the region is very messy to so to speak. I can't guarantee anything, but uh, if I'm not wrong, people have been saying Legacy Esports was the better Australian team coming into it, but they failed to qualify. Meanwhile, Team
Yeah,
One,
apparently there was.
yeah,
Oh yeah, sorry. Apparently there was this like Legacy Esports was like the reigning champion for I think a few years, maybe 1 or 2 years. Then Direwolves was a really new team that just started up and they just ran through everybody and somehow made it.
that reminds me of Oregon, but Oregon had a much higher success.
I mean, yeah, they didn't have to play through planes as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true.
Uh, as for Team One, they came from Brazil. I thought that INTZ would be a stronger team, but Team One managed to get through. But from what my knowledge is, the Brazil scene is one of the stronger wildcard regions. That's why I thought they would have a slightly higher chance.
Oh yeah, that's true. It was, I think the two strong wildcard regions are Russia and Brazil. Like
Yeah,
since ANX actually made it decently far last year.
I think those two are the regions that almost consistently got through until Vietnam appeared.
Yeah, or more precisely until GAM appeared.
Yeah, they were.
Because the other Vietnam team, which was Young Generation, was actually just like complete joke. But they actually beat Fnatic one game.
It was pretty close for the second game. No, it was very close for the first game actually. I checking the scores now. Young Generation lost the first game but won the second game. They were just one game away from winning, and if I'm not wrong from the play-ins of what I watched, the Fnatic versus Young Generation game, the game one, Young Generation was just one fight away from winning.
Like I think the way that YG plays for Young Generation is that they just like from watching them in the GPL, they are really aggressive and they have sort of a game plan, but most of the time they just want to team fight, they want to skirmish. They pick all these early game champions like they did in the GPL, and they just really look to try and overpower their opponents just through hardcore mechanical skill. Which is what a lot of other people like analysts or maybe shoutcasters in the GPL were talking about when the topic of young generation was brought up.
That doesn't seem like a very good strategy going into Worlds though. Most of the teams there should be roughly the same skill level, if not better. At least that's my opinion.
I mean that's how they made it to Worlds in the first place, so why not go with it, right?
If you're
And
yeah,
yeah, I was just gonna go on with the Chaos Latin Gamers because I have absolutely no information about them.
okay. I I don't think I have much information on them either.
Like, I have completely no idea who any of their players are, and just a big question mark to me. So, I was like a little bit surprised when YG actually lost to them like twice.
That YG lost to Chaos Latin Gamers twice. That seems.
Or was it once? I
I
can't
think it's
remember.
once. It's
Oh,
yeah. It is surprising though.
oh wait,
Because
yeah, they went 1-3.
yeah. The only thing I actually remember about Chaos Latin Gamers is Frag going ham on their top laner. His name is Mantraya with a lot of
Oh yeah,
R's. That's
I love it when the caster shout his name.
that's funny. That's really funny.
Oh yeah, so the last group, which was HKA, Fenerbahce, and Rampage. Like, I actually think Japan is a good region. They just got a really shit group draw. Like
I
of all the other wildcard teams, they had to get Fenerbahce.
That is definitely true, but in return they have HKA. Oh,
True.
whether HKA is the weakest, in my opinion, the weakest team here because the LMS region, if I'm not wrong, is very heavy on the top two players. Not players, top
Oh,
two teams.
oh, you mean out of the four like major regions here, lah?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is true. I mean, we already know this, right? Like, um, HK wasn't expected to even make it to play-ins. So the way that they actually made it through was just through grinding on their mechanics and then just smashing lane in the LMS vs the J team and Raze Gaming, which were the two teams that were projected to come into the plains and possibly make it to Worlds for LMS.
I remember that if I'm not wrong, Raze Gaming had a really good start in their season in the LMS, where they actually, if I'm not wrong, they beat both HQ and Flash Wolves at one point.
Oh yeah, they got to second place in the regular season.
That's actually,
Or was it the spring split? Can't remember.
it's most likely somewhere in the middle of the split, I guess.
Oh yeah, so on to Fenerbahce. Never heard of them before this, and although I heard some hype about them on like Reddit and some other social media, but I have like no idea what was the real like hype about them besides the fact that they have two Koreans.
Actually, it was expected that Move was going to be the. Wait, Move is a Korean, but I've seen Move. He has been a player in uh Unicorns of Love, as well as before that he was a key member in Gravity Gaming. He was very good in terms back in the days of Gravity Gaming. He was one of the better members at controlling vision, and if I'm not wrong, one of his better champions is Nidale. From what I've heard of this, and if I'm not wrong, Frozen is he was one of the better, okay, not better, but he was one of the pretty decent mid laners. If I'm not wrong, he actually came from Longzhu before Longzhu got their new 5-man roster.
Yeah,
So I had some hopes for them. I thought that Fenerbahce would stand a chance against HKA.
well apparently Crash actually replaced Move because of visa issues, like just due to visa issues. So they had to get another player to replace him.
The good thing is at least Crash has worked with uh the mid laner Frozen back in the LCK, so that is a happy coincidence, I would say. So from
But I mean, they actually just actually crashed our worlds lah. I mean, it was 0-6 and they just died after play-ins. It
yeah,
was like
that's
kind
true.
of the play-ins for them were kind of like coin flippy. Them and HK were like, you know, a bit even 50-50, but they won the coin flip on that, and at worlds they were just mechanically weaker than everybody, and at a macro level also just weaker than everybody else.
One thing I want to say is in the final game, in the games between Fenerbahce and HK, uh, the first game that HK won, they used a strategy where they went for a hyper late game. Galio top, Gragas jungle, Syndra mid, Tristana ADC, and Rakan support. That was HKA's strat. And but in the game 2, Fenerbahce actually stole this strategy, this team comp from them, and it's almost champion for champion, with the exception that Alisa took over instead of Rakan.
I mean, the fact that they won the game already just shows that they were just better than HK at playing late game. And it's not really HK's forte to play late game. In the LMS, they played very, lane dominant champions. I mean, Syndra was like almost perma-pick for mission until Fenerbahce banned it in their games against HK.
As-
So, I mean, HK likes to play this very aggressive style. They like to play the early game. They just want to smash lane and convert it into a lead, take objectives, and get Baron and end the game.
Which means they don't have as much experience playing the late game, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
That would explain a bit on why the coin flip would I mean it did go 1-1, so that is a coin flip. The the tiebreaker actually went in Fenerbahce's favor, which gave them the first seed. And that was very important because if I'm not wrong, every other major region has actually got first seed. The closest was Fnatic losing one game. But if HK has actually entered as a first seed of the play-ins, they wouldn't have to face a difficult matchup. Their opponents would be Lion, Team 1, or Young Generation, since they cannot redraw Fenerbahce. So that one crucial game cost them their chance at Worlds.
Yep, and they got drafted into Fnatic and they got 3-0. So that's just the LMS dream for HK, just dead. Although I think it's quite surprising that they weren't able to even take a game off Fnatic.
In my opinion, Fnatic is an extremely emotions-based team. If they ride on a good, if they get tilted, they are gonna just fall off the map. We saw that in week 1 of their group stages. But if they are riding on a high, they will actually just storm. Their team with very high highs and very low lows. While they would not be as good as let's say just pick any random Korean team in the worlds, even if they are at the highest level, they still can match them. They also can almost reach the attempt to fight those gods there.
I mean, Fnatic. Okay, since we're on the topic of Fnatic vs HK, do you think Fnatic's players are more mechanically skilled than HK's players are?
Personally speaking, I don't think that much. I don't think so, because in my opinion, Fnatic's players are, assuming they would play the same way they did. SOAS is a vet. Okay, player for player, Fnatic should have a slight advantage, specifically in their top and their bot lanes, because that is where the veterans of Fnatic's rosters are. SOAS, Reckless, and Jazzis. So that means if HK wanted to do anything, they have to try to break mid.
I mean, that's where I think most of their focus was anyway. Although I think their like they just keep trying to adapt to the Ardent Sensor meta. But I think just staying with like the trash, the engage supports, and playing really aggressive will just maybe at least make the series a bit closer. You know, trying to play late game against a team they are more adept at playing is just gonna make you fall flat on your face and just get trioed.
True. Uh,
Same thing with Longsu, and it just showed trio.
I guess playing to your strengths is a very good thing. Cause we have seen the games from Misfits, we have seen the games with RNG. Those are like
I mean, we have kind of seen it from EDG, like the week 1 was kind of a flop, but the week 2 was when they actually like showed up.
that was true. They went 2-1 if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, they went 2-1. Like you don't really have to restrict yourself to the meta, because I think at this point every champion or every team comp is viable. It's just that the execution, like the percentage of risk that is based on the execution, right, gets higher or lower depending on the kind of meta that is relevant during that period of time.
That's true. Uh, in my opinion, the two strategies that specifically came out in this world is either the ardent sensor scaling or the early abusing. That's where the Caitlyn came out from. That's where some of the early game strats came out from, where you just try to power force your way through and make sure your opponent doesn't get the late game they actually wanted. Uh, so as to speak, do you think HK could have done this?
I mean, yeah, their whole run to planes through, oh sorry, two planes, right, was just based on the fact that they out mechanic their opponent. Okay, they just outskilled them and just completely crushed lane. So why would you want to play a late game scaling Ardent Sensor comp when you could just like pick trash, Blitzcrank, I don't know, like Leona Fervor, and just shit on the enemy? Give you such a huge lead that it's just insurmountable, you know, you just run over them.
I guess they fell to the ardent sensor craze where they just I mean, the ADCs are starting to take Relic Shield just to help their supports get more gold. I think maybe they just saw that and they are like, oh shit, we need to copy this strat. We can't use our own strat, and they just fell to that.
Well, I mean, most of that is just based on the coaching staff and how they approach the game. So, yeah. If
Okay.
you were to blame it on somebody on HK, just blame it on the coaching staff.
The, you can always blame them, but I mean that is
It's kind of sad when you say it this way, but they failed to like adapt to how they want to play the game and what was the winning strategy for them. So whoever just picked the comms and taught the players what to do was just wrong at that point in time.
it is
Not
very hard to.
necessarily wrong, but he just took a bigger risk than he needed to.
Yeah, that's true. He tried to play everything off the what do you call it? The He tried to play everything off the meta, and that did not work out at all. So, do you want to move on to the rune stream, the rune
Oh yeah,
segment?
sure.
Okay. What do
Sure.
you? Yes. What do you expect for this preseason? What do you expect the meta to be?
Oh, it's just gonna be mage supports, assassins, and bruisers. I'm almost 100% sure that mage supports are just gonna be a thing now, and that stuff like trash is like completely unplayable.
There are still options though, even though I do agree that the standard supports, the engage supports like trash or those that cannot make use of the currently very OP summon AoE, as well as if you can afford to arcane command, those two seem to be a lot forcing the lanes to a very harsh state.
Yeah, I mean the only real engaged supports that are still around at the moment are Alistar and Leona. Yeah, I think these two. Rakan is like kind of a little bit of a non-factor, but it's really hard to figure out what rune you're actually supposed to take on Rakan. It's really iffy at the moment.
That is true. I'm assuming you'll probably be using summon Aerie as well. That seems to be the only thing actually sort of goes well with Rakan.
True. I mean, you can proc it off your E, you can proc it on your Q, so you can use both sides of it. It's actually useful. I mean, mage supports are just going to abuse this. Maybe not mage supports, like the sustain supports. So like Nami or Sona. I'm not sure if it procs on the Nami heal, but Sona definitely abuses this. Soraka abuses this shit. It's so gay. Oh, the
Sona,
other,
yeah, go on.
yeah, sorry, the other melee support that I just remembered that could actually or will actually be in the meta is Braum, because he does decently well into the mage supports with the re-engage and disengage.
That is true. Uh, I think it's mainly because of the lack of the old runes actually provide you with a bit of stats to actually survive the laning phase, like a bit of armor, a bit of MR. Just because of the lack of armor and MR, they are coming up with a lot of very high damage strategies. If I'm not wrong, Sion is actually a top 5 support as of stats currently.
Yeah, I think he has a second highest win rate. Source is obviously OPGG. But yeah, in solo queue, Sion has the second highest win rate. The first is Sona, so broken ass champion.
A
More
lot
like
of,
the runes are broken actually.
yeah, a lot of it is because they can just do just so much damage. Uh, yeah, that's one of the main, I guess, things about this meta would be it would be a lot faster paced because and a lot more chaotic, just because of how things are going. For example, everyone does more damage because everyone else has less defensive stats. Health is a health is a factor, but it's not as good as the armor or MR you can get that might save you your laning phase.
Okay, so there are actually 3 team comps that just came to my mind on which I think will be the most prevalent team comps. So we have the dive comp, or like the one where they just run like 2 tanks and a Sivir and they just run you over. And because like tanks are still like relatively, useful. It's not like they completely fell off. The items that the tank are able to buy that are actually like decent and they're good. So tanks are still in meta. So dive comp is available. You got that really good mid-game power spike with the 2 tanks, and then you just run the opponent down. The next you obviously have the pick comp, because now everybody is so unreliably like squishy. There's like no resistances. It's just like loose lane to a mage support. So things it's just gonna be like a throwback to last year, like Ash Zyra, Varus Zyra, just whatever with Zyra, okay. Jin Zyra. Just utility ADCs, mage supports. It's gonna be a thing. And the third one, sorry, the final one would be the assassin meta, or like the 1-3-1 meta. So I mean, if you didn't know, they actually buffed lethality, not lethality itself, but they added 2 more lethality to all the items.
Okay.
So now each item gives you like 20 lethality, which is 20 flat armor at level 18, because it scales per level. So if you get all of them, you reduce the armor by 60, which on
That
like a carry is pretty much like true damage.
that is a very that's a very high amount, and that's not even considering the fact that they don't have any more at uh I don't think I don't think any champion besides those tank supports have been uh, com- compensated for the fact that they don't have any more armor runes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's just like that OP. Just gonna see some more people building lethality. It's just like 6.22 over again. You're just gonna have people stacking lethality, one shotting everybody. I think we'll eventually see that. It's just that now people are trying to figure out the runes first, and then we'll go on to the item builds. Because they didn't really add any new items besides the stopwatch.
The stopwatch is pretty good though. 600 gold for Zonya.
I think that's like the only redeeming factor when you're playing against a Vitality champion. It's like you just get a free Zonya at the start of the game that you can use at 6 minutes. So by the time your opponent hits 6, you can use it already.
Yeah, that has added a lot of. For now, I think most people are just gonna go with the later two comps that you have mentioned, the assassins and the catch comps. I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
Those two will be the more fun ones, so people are gonna use them more. Before, because what I'm thinking is the tank meta will come in later after the values have been like tweaked a little, so that uh mage supports assassins are not that OP. Plus also the fact that the resolve tree actually gives you a chance to they give you iron skin and mirror shell, which can help with your early game a lot. Those are they give you 5 armor or magic resist and increases your armor or MR by 5% after using a consumable.
Oh yeah, but why wouldn't you take the other one though? It was, I remember the name was called conditioning. It was like after 10 minutes you get um 10 armor and 8 MR, something like that. The values are around that.
I love conditioning, but if everyone is gonna try to kill you as early as possible, you might want to have the stats immediately, even at the cost of not having the more value later on. That's why I think.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
I
So
think
I think the main few benefactors of this lethality change are like Jace, obviously Zed, Ezreal to a certain extent, right? Jungle Ezreal. I mean,
yes.
Ezreal with Kleptomancy now is like pretty broken, and he kind of fulfills his role as a mid-game power spike ADC instead of something like a combo.
That's
So
true.
he's really viable at the moment, but I think something like Ashe or Varus is much better than Ezreal at the moment.
Azure Jungle should still work though, but you can't take Kleptomancy that well with Azure Jungle, but you can opt to take Dark Harvest instead for quite a bit of burst from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think Dark Harvest is pretty busted. Like the amount of damage they do from just killing a camp and walking to the lane, especially on a champion as mobile as Ezreal, you don't even have to like get really into range of the person. You just E4 and auto attack him once and like he loses 200 HP.
Yeah. Ezreal is now a very scary jungler if your laner has CC to lock him down for Ezreal to finish him off.
Yeah, so things like Syndra Ezreal, very good combo. Like so just catch comms in general. The ability to burst somebody is like much higher than before. Not even counting the fact that there are no more like higher base stats on some of the champions because runes just died. I mean the rune pages themselves give you stats, but it's not much. It's just like 100 HP, which is like slightly more than what seals used to give you if you took flat HP runes.
That's true, but the thing, if I'm not wrong, is that you only get the health if you take Resolve as your primary tree.
Yeah.
If you take anything else, you don't actually get the health. You get either AP, attack speed, or in the case of Inspiration tree, elixir duration, and also a bit of AP.
Wait, that actually it gives you elixir duration?
Potions elixir duration. Yeah, that's the common trend across all of it. You get potions elixir duration, but then you gain whatever the tree gives you, like attack speed for precision, AP slash AD, adaptive AP or AD with domination and sorcery, and health for resolve. That's the odd one
Oh
out,
wow.
so to speak.
Elixir and duration is kind of a little bit weird. combat stat, combat stat, combat stat, elixir and potion duration.
Yeah,
Mm,
I guess they wanted to make inspiration different. I mean, it is called creative tools and rule bending after all.
true. I mean, if you think about it, if Ezreal uses it, it does make sense. So you could stay in the lane longer, try and stack his steer. If it's a really hard lane against a mage support, it's not that bad. Someone with Kleptomancy, you get free gold, free potions as well. So it does add up. Kleptomancy gives you potions, it increases the duration.
Yeah, it does help a lot. But what I'm more interested in is I don't really find a use for either Glacial Augment or Unsealed Spellbook, which are the other two keystones. The one that gives you that allows you to change your summoner spells, and the one that uh you can shoot a freeze ray if you use an active item to slow them.
Okay, so we're gonna cover these two, right? So the first one is the whatever spellbook. It's so non-existent I can't even remember its name. So the main point of it is to be able to change your summoner spell late in the game, right? So for example, you take Ghost or you take Heal, Ignite in the early game, and you want to swap out your summoner spells as the game progresses, so maybe a teleport. So you could probably do a 1-3-1, even though your comp was not built to do a 1-3-1. You could swap your summoner spells for something else to adapt to the enemy. But since games are so fast anyway, right? It's like no point to wait and scale to make. There's no opportunity for you to make use of any of these summoners.
That is true. Uh, I think the original intent behind it was, I think for supports, so you can go for some really cheesy early game, such as like Heal Ignite, to just ensure that you win the lane and you still get your flash afterwards. But it doesn't seem to be working out too well with the mage supports having the limelight as of now.
I mean, it's not like you will need heal because people took heal because of the Ardent Sensor. And Ardent Sensor is a non-factor at the moment. They actually nerfed it to the ground. So I think the only person that still builds it at the moment is Karma. Like Sona just skips the item and just goes into tier, teens, and whatever. But Ardent will still be part of the build. It's just later on in the game. It's not exactly first item priority right now.
It still does give decent stats if I'm not wrong. 60 AP. It's just that
True.
the what do you call it? The healing effect has been reduced so that uh you don't give as much attack speed, you don't give as much on hit damage as before. So it's just it feels more like a
Yeah,
stat ball.
they just completely took out the healing effect, which
Yeah.
honestly I really appreciate. That was the most annoying thing about Arden, is when you chunk their AD carry and you hit and their support heals him and he just autos the wave and gets back to full HP.
That's true. The other sensor meta was very it discouraged active play for to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's why I mean could be a reason why HK didn't even want to play engage supports anymore.
Yeah. It
Oh
did,
yeah,
did
the other rune, Glacier Augment, right?
yes.
So I think the basis, like the reason for taking this rune, right, would just be it's like it's just a niche. Only some champions will take this. Like literally the only thing that Trash would take, I think, would just be Glacier Augment or Kleptomancy. Yeah, I think it's just these two, unless it's Dark Harvest. But these three, I mean, how often would you proc Kleptomancy on a mage support?
Uh on a mage support that's actually it's only very few champions that can pull that off. Sona is one. Maybe if you play Soraka and you hit your Q, but that's a bit unreliable. But yeah, I sort of agree with you on this.
Yeah, and going Dark Harvest on Trash is like kind of cheesy in a way. So I think like Glacier Omen is just the only one that can be useful. I mean, in a team fight, after you burn all your spells, you're actually just auto attacking everybody. So you're slowing their whole team. You're actually doing something because the auto attacks actually slow people, but it's slower for range. I think it's like 20% slow for range. But it's like I think that's the only champion that would take it, unless it's like Singed or something.
It
But I'm
does
pretty sure Singed has like better spells for it. I mean better runes.
Predator with the movement speed, or maybe just a standard resolve tree, I suppose.
Yeah,
Do you think any champion will actually manage to proc the Glacial Augment's active items? But
I mean like Akali, but electrocute.
yeah,
Any
that's
champion
true.
with Hextech Doublet. But then, I mean Protobelt,
Yeah,
Cassandra,
that's.
maybe.
Does Protobelt slow?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, damn.
So I
Oh,
mean, if you Protobelt their whole team will get slowed
imagine the
because of
craziness.
Glacial.
Wait,
Just like 5 Victor lasers come down.
does Rylai work with Glacial Augment though? Like, does your
Um,
normal item become technically a slow?
so Rylai, from what I know, the game slows used to stack, but now it's just based around which slow has the higher percentage, which I think Rylai does. So there's no point building Rylai if you have Glacial Omen.
That's true. I was thinking of the freeze ray would be really funny to cause that much havoc with, let's say, a proto belt. A proto belt into a mass ice field.
True.
That's
Just
something I
like
would.
their whole team just gets slowed. Although I think like switching whichever rune it is for this is like kind of useless unless you're switching the runic spellbook or whatever it's called. Then yeah, I guess it'll be more worth because that is literally the worst rune.
True. It does at least give summoner spell CD. I think 25%. Although some you cannot switch to smite to get smite items or have double flash. Double flash, sorry.
Could you switch out of smite though?
I believe so. That means you could have smite jungle item and then swap out of smite.
So can you switch into smite? You can. It's just that you can't buy the jungle item.
I believe so.
Oh, that'd be really hilarious to imagine your whole team had smite.
Oh god. Your opponent can't steal Baron from you anymore, man. 3k health.
Yeah, it's like a
Smites.
really good cheese. There's a really good cheese. Your whole team just gets that rune. At this point in time, like 20 minutes, just swap into smite. All of you just do Baron.
That is
No,
so
no
true.
counterplay. No counterplay. Just absolutely no counterplay.
Yeah, I do agree. Um, I mean, they could try to kill all of you before you get to the 3k health spite fast. That's unreliable, but I think that's their only option at the point.
True. Which champions do you think are like the biggest benefactor of this rune change?
Biggest benefactor. Uh, That's a very tough question because okay, the straight out thing I would say is ADCs have the short end of the stick. I don't think ADCs are still pretty good, but they did not get any real significant benefit from the precision tree as of now. If I'm not wrong, they
I think
yeah.
okay, yeah. I think the press the attack and lethal tempo, especially lethal tempo, was just overhyped. Like everybody was like, "Oh, Kog'Maw 2.5 attack speed with little tempo, so OP," and then comes out nobody actually uses it.
You could exceed the attack speed limit though, so you I don't know, you can try to get as close to 5 attack speed on.
Yeah, somebody did the math because it's nothing like the old Kog'Maw. The old Kog'Maw, when you use your W, right, it would double the attack speed. So it will go from 2.5 to actually 5. So it's the complete attack speed limit. But this rune, right, it just makes it's like 80% if I'm not wrong. So the maximum you can get is 3.7. Yeah,
Oh, that's
which is like
disappointing, but
nowhere. Yeah, it's like nowhere close.
so do you think this will be very good on attack speed champions, like on hit? Like maybe Guinsoo users, Rune King. That
I don't think many champions will build Guinsoo now, like especially Varus, because one of the main reasons why you would buy Guinsoos on Varus, right, was because your support had Ardent Sensor, and the Guinsoos would double the damage of the Ardent Sensor as well. So basically, now all Guinsoos give you is just that one item power spike, and the fact that your W stacks twice, and that's about it.
that's true.
So I think Varus will opt to go with the BOTRK build, and I'm not really sure what rune you will take on him, honestly. I'll assume it will be press the attack, because you already get attack speed steroid from your passive, so if you kill one person, you can just keep stacking on the next one.
That's true. 12% is no joke. Since the value, you increase the damage taken by I think 12% from all sources, which means your teammate can hammer that target. It's actually very good for anti-tank. Uh,
Yeah. Although, I mean, we have agreed that the meta that will be shifting into a assassin meta, so
that's true.
it's
Uh,
kind of like, you know, countering the argument itself. But if it does make it to attack meta, then press the attack will be relevant.
we'll have to
But at the moment,
see.
I think the strongest precision rune is the Fleet Footwork or Fleeting Footwork, whatever it's called. The one that is the slightly buff warlords.
Huh. I mean, the Warlord's Bloodlust was pretty good back in the day. I believe it was practically 100% have to take after its original rework when they changed it from higher lifesteal when you have lower health to this the attack energized attacks give you healing. If I'm not wrong, energized attacks work with static shift and yeah, static
RFC,
shift.
yeah.
Yeah. So that might be a good like synergy with it lah.
I
Oh,
mean, it's just the best option against mage supports at the moment.
a bit of healing and a bit of movement speed to dodge the skill shots. That helps a lot lah.
Yeah, and I think this would be the rune that Jin would take. Like, I was doing little bit of research, so I came across this rune page recommendation where he took the Fleeting Footwork and the Overheal. So this duo rune combination is like really good. But the deal breaker for this is that when you hit, you can just move forward. With the increased attack speed, you'll be able to land your fourth shot on the opponent.
So it's a
Right? So
guaranteed.
yeah, it's a guarantee fourth shot.
But if you take the precision tree, you'll get the attack speed. Is the attack speed worth it on Jin, or would you rather go for more AD, like maybe uh some form of burst with I don't know arcane command?
I mean, I've not done the math, but attack speed does give Jin more AD. So it
Okay,
is like somewhat decent.
that does work, I guess. But what do you think of the other like the minor runes for precision tree though? Because personally, I think most of them it feels like each of the uh minor rune will accomplish a different but specific avenue. So to speak, the first one is mostly about sustaining, I suppose, with overheal, trump, and presence of mind. Overheal being the excess healing one, trump being basically a better version of dangerous game, and presence of mind is you can spend your spells for free after 5 seconds after level and takedowns. So what do you think about this?
I mean, presence of mind is literally the rune that nobody takes. Like, in what situation would you take presence of mind?
I suppose if you are that desperate for mana, maybe. But there are
Like,
better
even if you're playing
options.
champions that reset, right? So like Katarina and Akali, they don't even use any mana. So like, what is the point?
To be fair, I don't think Katarina or Akali would take. Uh, would they take the precision tree? They don't seem to be able to use most of the minor runes here anyway.
I mean, like probably not. But let's say if you swap it into like the domination tree where electrocute is, or like dark harvest, right? Would you even take this?
Definitely not, man. I think precision tree is more or less for either ADCs or attack speed champions.
I
Okay,
mean, the champions which are able to like do really quick auto attacks through their abilities, like Jace and Renekton, I think they will take the precision tree. Like the fact that press the attack is so easy to proc, right? If you have like attack speed steroid, like the Jace when you use his W, he has a 2.5 attack speed, and Renekton's W instantly procs 2 auto attacks. So it's just really easy for you to get the 12% and increase damage
that's
with
true.
just one ability.
I didn't think of that. Uh, However, you will be actually it's pretty good. Trump is always useful, and then you can take the other uh some of the other minor runes actually cater to this a lot.
I think the next line of runes are really bad though. The one that requires you to have takedowns
Yeah.
to give you stats. It's like Riot just had no idea what to put in. So they're like, ADCs like to get kills. We give them rewards for getting kills.
I mean, at
So that's
least
how they just filled out the runes.
yeah, at least they went with a diverse route, so there's something for everyone. If you want lifesteal, attack speed, or if you can't make use of those, you always have tenacity for champions such as Renek.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I didn't think about that as well. That's true.
But yeah, legends, all these three do not actually give anything straight off the bat, right? Or do they actually
Like
give?
let's say you were playing a scaling ADC. You play Vayne, you take Fleeting Footwork, and you're forced to take one of these legends. But the thing is that you're trying to play a scaling ADC, the chances of you getting an early kill is like really low. So that rune, you're just missing a rune compared to other people. You're just -1 rune automatically at the start of the game. So you go into the game already at a disadvantage. Like the rune itself is just really bad design.
It's heavily geared towards late game, I suppose. That would actually, yeah, I agree. That actually hurts scaling ADCs quite a bit from there.
But I mean the at least the last one is like kind of its saving grace per se.
It is, yeah, it is pretty good. They they are all damage based runes, but they give you damage based on different factors, which I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, it's like the last whisper. They just toy around with the Giant Slayer, the item, and they just reverse some of the words and they came out with the runes. I think it's really good design, like compared to the legends. It's like uh I would prefer not to take them. Like I would take two of the fourth rune line instead of the third one.
More damages, man. More damages. Uh, Having a mix of both cut down and coup de grace is gonna be crazy because it allows you to have more damage no matter where you are, and that damage, if I'm not wrong, is uh actually it does help you kill champions significantly faster.
Yeah, I mean this works into like Jace, right? Because you're playing against tank top lane. You know, you do more damage to champions with more maximum health than you. like Renekton also. When you're playing a bruiser into a tank, these things are always really nice to go or to have.
That's true. But won't bruisers such as Renekton have a lot of health with their items as well? From Black Cleaver, Titanic, that kind of stuff?
I mean, compared to champions that rush full HP, I mean like Cho'Gath for example, Maokai.
Uh, that's
I mean
true.
Cho'Gath itself is a really good example already. And you're playing, let's say you're playing Jace, so you'll probably be building Vitality. I mean the new Vitality changes or buffs are really insane.
That's true. I
You already
almost
don't
forgot
have
about
much
that.
base HP. Yeah. Maybe Renekton is a different case, but I still think you'll still build the same thing because it's maximum HP, right? It's not current HP.
Yeah. I think I managed to hit like with the old Renek. I mean before preseason, with the old Renek, I think you can hit 3k health quite consistently without with just your two core items, Titanic and Black Cleaver. One of the Hydras anyway.
Wait, 3k?
I think so.
Oh, but this was with like scaling HP runes, right? So
I think I took. Actually, I'm pretty sure I didn't take any health runes. I have
oh
to. I think it's probably very late game. At that point, I'm starting to
yeah, I
try to
mean
build tank.
com- compared to the tanks, it's like you
Yeah,
know
the tanks
you're
have
like half of
4k or
what they
5k.
have. Yeah.
Mm, Moving on to the
Okay,
domination tree.
yeah, go on to a different tree. Okay.
Uh, what do you think of Predator? Because I feel that it's a niche that suits only a few champions. Considering that Dark Harvest is quite OP, a lot of junglers would just take Dark Harvest instead of Predator.
Okay, I mean Predator is only good on certain champions because Dark Harvest at the moment is really broken. So I think even champions that really abuse Dark Harvest, not Dark Harvest, Predator like Kha'Zix, there's still a certain incentive to take Dark Harvest. Because if you don't make use of that Predator active, right, it's just a complete waste. Like if you just on it and you fail to get a kill or anything, Dark Harvest is just way better.
That's true, it's more reliable in that sense. Uh, do you think the cooldown on Predator is too long? It's 3 minutes that slowly reduces to 2 minutes. It
Sorry?
feels. Predator is a Predator has a cooldown of 3 minutes at I think level 1, and it slowly scales down to 2 minutes. So I do you think it's too long for Keystone Mastery, so as to speak?
I mean, wait, which other Keystone Mastery actually has this long of a cooldown?
I don't think anything else has it that long, man.
It's just Predator.
Uh,
But if you made it, does it get affected by CDR though? If it does, then I think it's kind of okay. Because it's like they give you an extra summoner spell basically. They give you Ghost.
I think maybe if you have, I don't know, Cosmic Insight, which gives you item CDR, that kind of stuff, maybe that will work. I suppose.
Like, oh, one thing I've always wanted to clarify was, does your base, like your normal CDR, right? Does it affect your item cooldowns?
Uh, Base CDR does not affect item cooldowns. Item cooldowns is a different avenue
Oh,
itself.
so only things like Ruby Sightstone will affect it.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Someone has posed a
Okay.
question on what do Allah be Jesus has said. What do you think of Transcendence runes with 5 Black Cleavers? Oh god, that
Allah be Jesus.
great name.
Wait, fuck. Which one is Transcendence?
It's in the sorcery tree. It gives you 10% CDR at level 10 and converts additional CDR to either AD or AP adaptively, which
Oh,
I think I saw a build on
do you think
Reddit.
that rune is worth taking?
I like that rune mainly because the lack of the 10% CDR of your uh current setup means that you really, for some champions you really want this. Like those champions that you want to hit 40% CDR but you can't afford to get it. But the niche is that the additional percent of CDR is converted to a very good value of AD or AP is uh both good and hilarious, because I think I've seen this build on Reddit on with 4k health Z with about 500 AD based off Transcendence by stacking a shit out of it.
Well, what items do you build though? Just like Spirit Visage? Oh
Uh,
wait, it only gives 10% CDR.
the build
So yeah, like
has
Black Cleavers.
the build has two Black Cleavers in it, one Yomu. Uh, I'm not too sure what else, but I believe there's two tank items and one of them could be Visage.
Warmock's Visage.
That's possible. That's also hilarious.
I mean the rune itself is the only one mage supports will take because there is no like base CDR that you start off with anymore. Like there are no more runes. I like when the runes first came in, right, I completely forgot that I didn't have my 10% CDR. So it was just like zero. I was just like wondering why the hell my CDR just disappeared. But yeah, the 10% is like completely necessary, especially when you play support or mid lane as a mage.
That's true. I It's extremely bad if you're the type of champion that relies like heavily on your cooldowns. Like if imagine Rise or some other champion that spam that much. Personally, I played Lissandra and it feels really bad for my ultimate to be on that long CD, which is why I'm forced to take as much things as possible to like cater to that.
Okay, wait. What do you think about Aerie and Arcane Comet?
Uh,
We'll talk about Phase Rush after this because it's a completely different segment of this sorcery
that's
tree.
true. Personally speaking, I would say it's very heavily on whether you can proc Arcane Comet reliably. Like if you are a CC mage or uh or if you're a more supportive type of support, I guess. Because Arcane Comet does, I believe, significantly more damage compared to Summon Aerie, but it doesn't always hit. There's comes to a point that if you cannot guarantee your hit, Arcane Comet is no longer worth taking. So that means you have to have some form of CC to ensure that you actually hit those Arcane Comets to make them worth it.
I think the real difference here, right, is the amount of times you can actually proc the mastery or the rune itself. So obviously Aerie would be you'll be able to proc it more in the early game, right? Because Arcane Comet starts with a 20-second cooldown, then it scales down, and when you hit another spell, it goes down a little bit more.
That's true.
So Aerie for early game, Arcane Comet for later game or mid game. I don't know how often do you proc Arcane Comet in the laning phase?
In the laning phase, I've played a few games of Lissandra and Zyra, which in both games I ran Arcane Comet with. If I'm not wrong, I managed to proc Arcane Comet and have about 80 80% hit rate on Arcane Comet early on, while it only went up after I got my ultimate from there. Uh, to be more precise, that I did 4k damage with it in that game. So I think it's actually fairly good to say that I have procced it quite often in that one single, I believe, 30-minute game.
Oh wait, you're able to check like how much damage it does?
Yeah, if you at the point of time, if you want, you can just press C, uh open up your rune switch, and then they will just show you all the stats of your current masteries, including the minor ones.
Oh, what the hell? Okay, that's useful.
More you
I
know.
think the real like a champion that actually really benefits from arcane combat is Belkos. Like the slow actually guarantees a hit on the arcane combat from your Q.
That is true. And that's also pretty high range.
Yeah, so it's really easy for you to proc it, and mage support, fitting right into the meta. I don't know, I've heard people say you should take AoE on like mage supports. Like I don't really get it. Like when you're playing Zyra and you take it, or you're playing Vel'Koz and you take AoE, it's kinda weird. Like you feel like it's the kind of rune that only Lulu, Soraka, Sona would take, right?
Uh,
Or like Karma.
yeah, that's also my belief in it because uh, in Vel'Koz's case, I can understand to some extent you want that guaranteed damage over a slight more damage, considering how many times you actually hit your Q in lane. But Zyra, unless you are only harassing with your Q and plan, uh, you typically, because if you do your full combo with your E, you are almost guaranteed Arcane Command hit. So you might as well just take Arcane Command at that point. I assume if you want to take Summon Area on something like Zyra, you're actually not making use of your CC as much as you can. Or maybe you're just playing a bit more safe, depending on the matchup. Like, if you're against something like Blitzcrank, you may be forced out, that you cannot play that aggressive, I suppose.
True. Okay, so here's the final question. Aerie or Arcane Command, which one is more broken?
Airy, almost without a doubt. I have I promised a guy that I won't reveal his strat, so but the main thing about Airy is that you can pick Airy up for uh just to reset it slightly earlier, I think. I believe I
Okay,
read
like
a
click can you like click on it?
no, you just have to run to it and pick it up. So if you're a
Oh,
champion that like hugs your opponent and then just kills them from there, I think you can proc Airy multiple times. Imagine if you're a Leona and you go all in. I think there's a chance you can proc like maybe 2, 3 Aries on your opponent in one single engage. That
wait, that actually sounds broken.
I I think so, but I'm not very sure if it's that reliable because from what I've seen, Aerie spins in a circle around your target. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
not,
like a pix. It stays there for and then comes back.
yeah. So I'm not sure how fast you'll pick it up because I've played some champions that just spam their spells and I just stood next to a training dummy for a few minutes and just see how much DPS I can do at level 1. The values are really high if you can stick to your opponent.
But like what's the estimated time that it comes back to you though? Like maybe 1-2 seconds only?
Uh, I suppose it'll be around 2 or 2.5 seconds. That's the best guarantee I can give at this point.
Oh wow, that's still really fast though. You just have to like know the timing.
Yeah. The original timing is 4 seconds. So 4 seconds. I'm not sure whether it includes traveling time, but that should that should be the main reason why you can't make that much use of it.
Okay. So moving on to the phase rush, or basically worst Storm Raider, as most people have said.
I can't disagree that it is. Uh, I actually think it's the main reason why it's not as good is because it provides utility instead of damage. Like when last year, was it last year that Thunderlords came out? Everyone just took Thunderlords because nobody cared about utility at that point of time. They just want more damage, want more uh kill potential, so to speak. They don't value the movement speed as much, and in this case, it's a lot harder to proc the 3 hits that you need for phase rush, which is why I believe a lot of champions opt out of it.
I mean, last year people were running Thunderlords because it was really OP. Like the
Yeah,
base numbers
that's
were
true.
just like too much. And it was the assassin meta as well. Well, it was when the Lethality first came out and it was kind of broken. So it was like the Jin Dustblade thing
Ah, yeah, that's true.
and like the Z Dustblade. Everybody was like complaining about Dustblade. It was too OP. Please nerf this, please. I'm not sure about this, but I think the Leah can proc the face rush just from using his Q.
It does say separate abilities, so I'm not very sure about that.
Like if I'm not wrong, like I think this is the same way how the new Thunderlords work, the electrocute. Like let's say for example Syndra's balls, right, are like separate entities. So when you press your ultimate on let's say a single enemy, I mean obviously single enemy, you will instantly proc the Thunderlords. Would it be the same for Phase Rush?
I'm the main
I'm
thing
not
about
I'm
it.
not sure about this.
I don't think so because specifically it's stated separate. So, in the same vein where Morgana's W doesn't proc Thunderlords or at least Electrocute now, I suppose it would not proc off Syndra's ult because in theory it's just one spell, even if it's multiple hits.
True. Then I really have no idea which champion would abuse this. I know in the trailer they did show Camille, which I think is one of the good champions that could abuse this. Because your combo is just your EW and auto, or your E auto Q, which instantly procs the face rush. So you just go in and you're out already.
That's true. You also gain slow resistance during the duration, so that's helpful.
Yeah, especially on melee champions as well. So I think this is just only for maybe those really niche top laners.
That that's true, I guess. Honestly, I want to try running this on flat, but three separate abilities is a little harder to proc than I expected.
Do you have to damage them with it, or do you just have to land it on them? Because like your ult doesn't do any damage at the start,
I think landing it works, but I'm not very sure. I haven't tested that out yet.
and like does items proc it? So like Protobelt
Actually, that's
and
a
like
good
two
question.
spells.
I'm pretty sure it does, which makes it actually a lot more useful on immobile mages than I thought.
Yeah, it's like sort of kind of decent right now. I mean, if it is true that items proc it, if it's not, then it's still trash.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking about Vladimir, which rune would you take for Vladimir?
Uh, let's see. Honestly, I think I'm most likely go with Face Rush, despite everything. Because Vladimir's base damage is already quite... Actually, you can run with Summon Aerie as well. Because of how often you can proc your Q. Your Q is actually on a relatively long CD early on, but afterwards, you can... Despite not staying directly on your opponent, you can actually proc Summon Aerie quite often with your Q. Although most people will probably just try to avoid you at that point of time.
I don't know. I think a lot of champions like Vladimir are put in a really weird position where they can't really abuse the new runes, at least not as much as other champions. So they are pretty much left with a like if they had a scoring for how good the rune is for that specific champion, they will have a 1, right? Other champions would be like 1.2, 1.5. So they're already like at a disadvantage.
That's true. Certain champions would need like special uh in Vladimir's case he really needs the movement speed to get around. But the other spells are just Phase Rush is just not as optimal as others and as well as the fact that proccing Phase Rush is not that easy.
Okay, if Protobelt procs it, then it's okay.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
Okay,
let me Google this quickly.
okay.
Okay, never mind, I can't find it. Okay, moving on to the few other runes in that sorcery tree.
Okay. Uh Personally, I have no idea how much the greater runes are the first set of runes because they seem to do very different things each. The
All
one
of them actually seem useful.
that's true. I would say Ultimate Head is the probably the most significant one because of the fact that a lot of champions are very out reliant. Imagine if you're going on a mount fight, you definitely want an Ultimate Head.
Oh, it's broken on Karma.
Oh, that's true.
Like it's actually broken on Karma.
You get it instantly. I didn't think about it.
Yeah, it's like maybe around 15 minutes in the game you already have it. Probably lesser. I mean, you obviously RQ at the start of the game, so maybe 10 minutes in the game.
That's true. But will you take that on Chase? Do you value changing your weapon that much? Sorry.
I mean, it's uh people have talked about it before, but I don't think it's useful at all. Like you probably lower the cooldown of your ultimate by like maybe a second. But is that really that much of a difference?
True.
It's
I
like the same thing. Would you
guess.
take it on Nidalee?
Uh, that's true.
Actually, probably not because if you proc your passive, your out instantly comes up. So
Yeah,
it's like
I
kind of
guess in that
useless.
case, mana flow blend would be better for Jace. The solve some of his mana issues.
I think the champions that really use the ultimate head is like Galio, like people that need that really impact the map with their ultimate. So like Shen, Galio, Talia, Twisted Fate.
I'm imagining
Like
if yeah, that's true.
like when your ult is on a really long CD base cooldown, and even though you have like 40%, it doesn't really bring it down enough. You use the ultimate head.
I mean, technically it provides 15% CDR for one spell, so uh that can be huge on a lot of those champions. It allows them to have better roam opportunities because they have longer windows where they can use it, as well as the fact that uh those champions that are almost completely based off their ultimate, they will have a huge advantage going in because their ultimate is just that much flammable. Like imagine if Malzahar just uh runs up at you, ulti you, and then before uh before the when you respawn he just ultis you again. Just imagine that. He just keeps locking you down every time you come out back alive. That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
it's pretty gay. Wait, which rune would Malzahar take? Which keystone?
That's I like Arcane Command, but Arcane Command only comes online after you have your ultimate, so
Hmm.
I guess Summon Area would be better for laning phase.
Yeah, I've seen people take Aerie, but it's really lackluster and it's kind of lame on Malzahar.
Will you take
But
Comet?
the thing is that Malzahar actually needs the mana flow ban
Oh,
because there's no more meditation mastery, so
oh,
you
that's
actually
true.
mages actually need the mana flow ban. Unless you're Lissandra, then that's a different thing.
That's true. Do you see much people taking the last one though, the Nullifying Orb? Free Hex
Mainly,
Drinker.
mainly ADCs. Mainly ADCs. Like on your secondary tree, right? You will take I think you can take it on your secondary tree.
I guess there's a possibility.
Oh yeah, you can actually take it on your secondary tree. So against, especially now against the mage supports, let's say
Oh
you're
yeah,
playing
that.
Zyra Ashe. Playing against a Ashe Zyra, you will take Nullifying Orb, so you won't necessarily get one shot instantly, or you have a small chance of surviving.
But what else will you take from it though? The Sorcery Tree. Do you take something like Celerity or uh Absolute Focus where it gives you extra stats based off if you have higher than 70% health? Or maybe something like Scorch which helps you uh do more damage.
I mean, Scorch obviously is like the one that you would take over some like shit rune like water walking. Gathering Storm and Scorch are the two main runes in the last three, but I mean the last line, but then again we agreed that
It's a very early game meta
you know
now.
yeah, it's early game meta now. So Gathering Storm not really as relevant as Scorch.
That's true.
I mean Scorch is like a free ignite. Like a really shit free ignite, but it's still relevant. So it's why not, right?
I suppose there's one way of putting it. It looks like it's going to be one tick of ignite that does magic damage instead of true damage, but
It's one third of your ignite at level 1, if I'm not wrong. Level 1 ignite does around 90 damage.
oh, that's actually pretty good then. Uh,
Yeah.
it does have a 20-second cooldown though, so it's more of a poke uh poke mastery instead then.
Well, it's still useful for the current meta. I mean, compared to the other two runes, it's the best one out of the three.
That's true.
So you're just gonna have to settle for it.
Then what do you
I
think about?
mean,
Uh, Go on.
talking about celerity and absolute focus, originally I thought absolute focus was the one that I was supposed to go for, but then I realized that I didn't have CDR, so yeah,
Uh,
transcendence is absolutely necessary.
what about champions that don't require that CDR though? Like, im-
What's an example of that?
imagine something like I guess Singe can run celerity, or ADCs if you are
True.
not very heavy on your skills can run absolute focus instead. If you are that confident in staying healthy, so as to speak. Like maybe if you are super long range or playing a hyper carry style with a lot of shielding and healing to keep you safe.
I think the only scenario, right, where you would take celerity or absolute focus is when you know you are going to overcap your CDR or like reach your CDR cap really fast. So let's say you build a teens and like some support items. You're playing Sona support. Okay, you build a teens, you build redemption, and maybe you build Mikhails. You're already 40% CDR. You
Th-
can't really take transcendence. Although I guess the fact that if you are over the CDR limit it actually gives you stats, but let's like think about it in a different way.
The stats are
Like what does
actually uh the stats are actually very cost efficient. The only problem
how much does it
is
give?
uh 1.2 AD or 2 AP. But the thing is 1 point of CDR is it's worth I think okay, I'm looking up stats right now. 1 point of CDR is actually worth about uh 2.6 gold per CDR I think. That's
Mhm. But I
wait,
mean
no
two
no
two AD.
26.6 sorry. AD
Oh
is 35, AP is 21.75. So it's actually
yeah,
very
it's already yeah
very
way
cost
more goal
efficient.
efficient.
Yeah.
I mean in that case it's already better, right? So there is
Yeah.
like actually no point of taking the others. Because no matter what, CDR is always going to be useful. So like in the past, champions that didn't stack CDR were because their runes didn't actually have space for it. So like they will run MR and scaling MR, and their items didn't include CDR. Maybe they had 10% at the end of everything. But this, no matter what, just gives you an extra 10%. It's always useful. The movement speed, I think, like from celerity, is only going to be useful. Maybe like Hecarim,
I
like the
suppose.
only real champion that I think actually benefits from it.
Do you think Sin should benefit from it?
I mean, does your ultimate count as bonus movement speed?
I'm pretty sure yes.
If it does, though, like what keystone will you take? I think it's
Uh,
fine if you take celerity. Oh wait, no, because you could take it as your secondary tree, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, okay, it makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. So just really niche champions. Like I think Shadow Kane could take it. I mean, you just like E through and run through the whole fucking jungle because you're so fast.
That's that's one way of it. But don't you have a max duration that can stay as a in shadow form, as in more specific, inside a wall? Or can you indefinitely refresh it forever?
I'm not sure about this, but it there is a duration of the thing lah. So walking into the wall increases the duration, and then the increased duration just doesn't increase anymore. So it just goes down from there. But your movement speed as Shadowcane is like increased by like 70% or something already. So celerity will increase it even more.
I see. That's actually very good.
Yeah, and the 8% bonus move speed will go to your AD. So it's like on an assassin it's actually useful. Actually thinking about it now, if you're gonna build Yomus, right, it's actually a useful
Oh
rune
yeah,
to take.
Yomu does give movement speed.
Yeah, bonus movement speed.
Imagine you just run down your opponent with celerity and I guess maybe Predator?
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh. Wait, that's actually a good combo.
Predator, Yomu, celerity. Holy shit, I can play Queen again, guys. This gonna be fun.
But let's say for example on Z, right, does the CDR outweigh the movement speed, or is it vice versa?
I think in Zed's case, he can go for CDR because his mobility is mainly his shadows. So, not to mention the fact that Transcendence give quite a bit of useful stats. Considering that, if I'm not wrong, does all three lethality items? No wait, if I'm not
No,
wrong,
the
Age of Night
the
doesn't.
Age of Night, yeah, Age of Night doesn't, because it builds off Serrated Dog.
You can get 20% CDR from the two lethality items. Uh, you can get. Do you build Black Cleaver on Zed?
I I have no idea how to play, I mean how to build Z, but let's just assume so.
That's another
Because I know
20% then.
there's only so much armor that you actually can build. So I
Yeah.
mean you get like free 20 AD, so it's worth, right? Free 20 AD.
Yeah. I think that's decent enough to consider it good rune for Zed. Especially since
I
he
mean you would have
relies.
to calculate the numbers, right? Like if you press Yumu and then you run at your opponent. So 8% of your bonus movement speed is converted into 80 for Z's case, because it's adaptive, right? So
Yes.
what is that number specifically? And compare it to 20 AD when you're capped.
That's true.
Uh,
Give me a quick moment. Yomu gives you 40 movement speed out of combat and 20% movement speed on the active.
oh wait, yeah, I forgot all the lethality items give you out of combat movement speed also. So
That actually helps it a lot. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh. Okay, I need
So
to
I
run some
assume if you
numbers
use
later.
Yumu, you will be like around 550 movement speed around there.
Quite likely,
Maybe a
actually.
bit higher. But like 8% of that is
Of the bonus movement speed, not the total. But uh
it's like 40 AD though. It's actually a
holy,
lot.
that's yeah, that is a lot. Okay, we found a
Okay,
hidden
yeah, maybe,
OP.
maybe yeah, maybe celerity is actually a good rune. If you're playing lethality, especially on champions like Talon. I think Talon is really gonna benefit from this, because your ult actually gives you movement speed. You use it.
That means you have a significant increase in your burst damage just based off your items. It's just a unintended effect that has so much uh add-ons to it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Uh
Okay, that's good. We found a good rune.
yeah, that's good.
Underappreciated rune. That's actually decent.
Okay, I know what I'm going to try out next. A few more lethality champions. Okay, you want to move on to the resolve tree?
Oh yeah, sure.
Uh, Grasp of Undying versus Aftershock. Which do you prefer on your tanks?
Oh, Aftershock for sure.
Huh.
I think Grass was kind of hyped up, but like because everybody was like, "Oh, permanent HP, it's so broken." But then Aftershock itself is actually just really, really OP
I
because
agree.
3.5% of your max HP plus the base damage itself is already a lot, and the cooldown is 20 seconds. So you'll be able to proc it around maybe twice in a team fight, depending on how long the team fight is.
That's true. Uh, I like the fact that it actually gives you like some defensive stats along with it. Like the armor and MR, there's both base and percent increase that actually helps engages. Like Maokai, I suppose Nautilus, a few of the traditional engaged tanks. This actually helps them really significantly, in my opinion.
Yeah, like it's just better than Grass. Like straight up just better than Grass. It's the Grass is a slightly better version of the one that we had, but at the moment there's not much use for it. If you're playing a bruiser top lane, you wouldn't take Grass because there are much better options for you in maybe the precision or domination tree.
That's true.
Yeah, and if you're playing a tank, the aftershock damage is already much higher than what Grass would offer you.
Yeah, that's true.
Although it's like zero point 0.5 lesser than Grass, like the amount of damage that aftershock does. But you have to remember that it's an AoE, so
Yeah,
it's worth a lot.
I think Grass, as usual, is going to go to the champions that just literally cannot make use of Aftershock in that case. Like, those champions that you would not, uh, that do not have
I
a
think
hard CC.
Fiora,
Oh yeah, Fiora, that's true.
yeah.
I heard that
Although
it's
I mean
okay.
people have been talking about kleptomancy on Fiora, so
Huh. I never actually heard of that. I only heard of Grasp of Undying Fiora. They seem to think it's really good.
I mean it is good, but I think kleptomancy is just the hype train right now. Like
Yeah.
use one spell, get gold, extra gold and free item. OP. Broken. Use this.
Imagine if you get the if you just lucked out and get the EXP, not EXP, the skill point potion. That will change a lot of
Um,
things.
from what I know, it only comes at a certain point in the game, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, like at the first 10 minutes or so, you only get health potions, mana potions, and vision wards. Then maybe later stage of the game, you start to get the elixirs. I mean oracles. Yeah, you get the elixirs as well, and then you get the scrying orb. So after the next 10 minutes, you probably be able to get the skill potion, which is like less effective at that time.
Yeah.
Although it is useful.
Imagine if you can get it at the start. That would be so OP. I suppose that's the
5 minute
reason why.
level 6. Nocturne
Totally
ulti.
great. Totally not OP. Should totally be the game. Okay.
Okay, what do you think about Guardian?
It feels so iffy, man. I suppose you'll pick it on something like, let's say, I assume Braum, because Braum
Yeah,
can't make
it's
use of
only useful on
Kleptomancy.
Braum.
If you're a melee champion that do not have a direct hard engage, but then if you have a direct hard engage, you might just take Aftershock, like Alistar or
Yeah, Alistar takes
Leona.
Aftershock. Leona takes Aftershock as well.
That
Only the really peel back supports that are melee will take Guardian. The only one that comes to my mind is Braum. So this is literally a rune made for Braum.
Do you think Taric and Rakan can use
Oh yeah,
this?
Derek is another one I forgot. Derek makes sense to use this. Rakan, no.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Rakan might use this because the other runes aren't really that great for him.
I suppose you can technically use Aerie.
Yeah, it's either Aerie. Yeah, Aerie, basically Aerie. I was thinking about Comet, but you don't really slow anybody. Your Q is the only spell you want to proc it off, and most of the time it'll miss anyway. So Aerie or Guardian, I guess, or Aftershock.
Guardian actually provides a lot of Oh, it provides a shield based off your health and AP, partially, a 0.2 ratio of AP and 10% bonus health. Actually gives 20% movement speed if it procs, but it has a 45-second cooldown. It's the second longest one after Predator, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of long, but I think it's just made for Braum and Taric. The
Yeah,
melee supports that stand beside their ADC in the middle of a team fight. So yeah.
yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't guard yourself, so that's by default only supports can make use of it during the laning phase.
Yep. I mean Trash could use this, but in laning phase it's really, really bad. Because you want to be the aggressor, right? You don't want to be like playing defense. So when you're ahead of your ADC, you can't actually like proc the shield effectively.
That's true.
Okay, let's move on to the next line.
Yeah, sure.
Unflinching, demolish, and font of life.
Uh, what do you think of unflinching? It's such a conditional summer spell, but it's very good for what it is.
Almost as bad as the runic spellbook or whatever it's called.
Uh,
It's like why?
it has a lot of tenacity and a bit of slow resistance, but the conditions are
I mean,
just too much.
I think you would use this right, okay, if you are a mid laner and you took Ghost as your summoner spell.
I guess so, but
I mean, Ghost
uh,
already gives you slow resistance. This gives you more slow resistance.
does it stack that way?
Uh, yeah, I assume so.
I see. Uh, I actually was looking at this and I thought maybe you can pull it off on someone like uh I'm thinking of Leona. Like imagine you have flash Q, but then you have your E for that. So that makes the fact that you have to cast a summon spell makes it so unreliable.
The
I
difference here, right, is that they give you slow resistance, not movement speed. If it was movement speed, it'll be busted, but it's slow resistance.
That's true.
So there is a requirement for that stat to actually make a difference. Like pretty much when you use it, you actually have just tenacity. No, like slow resistance is irrelevant at that point.
That's true.
So just overall bad rune or what?
It's too conditional. You're not gonna activate it often enough for it to matter. I think the other two are significantly better. Even uh because the other two are a lot easier to proc and their effects are significantly better in a fight because tenacity, while it's useful, usually it doesn't really affect your CDs that much.
True. Okay, demolish. Everybody was saying it's a broken rune.
It looks
What
fairly
are your
broken
thoughts
to
on it?
me.
Yeah,
Um,
actually it is
I
broken.
I played a bit of top lane. Even those aggressive top laners that I have, surprisingly I couldn't proc demolish that often. I only proc demolish when I'm split pushing, but not during the laning phase, even if I have a huge lead. It
Yeah,
seemed
they actually tweaked it just right. Like they did a really good job with tweaking the amount of time that it takes to proc it.
yeah, I agree with
So
that.
I think that's great. It's I mean if you're not gonna take the useless rune, you're not gonna take the one that marks them. So why not just take the one that just deals damage to towers? I mean you're the one with the teleport, you're gonna be split pushing anyway, so it makes sense.
That's true.
Yeah. So Font of Life, basically
Uh,
Stoneborn Pack, yeah, sorry, Stoneborn Pack.
I really like this a lot. It does seem to help your teammates significantly, uh especially if you manage to get some health early on.
I
Uh,
mean, this is the one that all the supports would take.
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, more or less. Unless you have no CC whatsoever.
No, I mean slowing them is enough already. So
Yeah, most champions will have a way.
conclusion of the second line, unflinching
Uh,
is garbage. Demolish
it's
is for top laners.
font
Font
of
of
life
life
for
is
supports.
generally a good, yeah, generally a good rune. I think top laners could take it as well. Like Cho'Gath used to take Stoneborn Pack,
Oh yeah, that's
so
true.
it's decent.
Uh, but imagine someone with like Shen, whose split push was considered. You can split push decently well, but with demolish, that is that's potentially
Oh,
really scary.
yeah, you can actually threaten turrets now. Like at least much better than last time.
I agree on that. Uh that's really huge for those champions that are meant to split push but couldn't really take turrets.
Yep, like Shen. What else is there? I think Shen only comes to my mind because all the other champions that I think are known for split pushing. Well, I guess Renekton is one of them, yeah. But then he also said that Renekton would probably be using press to attack. So,
Oh
oh
yeah,
wait, you
that's
could take this in your secondary tree also. So yeah, damn, I keep forgetting that.
true. That you can take a second injury.
Yeah,
But will you take that on Renekton, considering that you can go for something else that gives you like maybe more damage? Like imagine you take domination, you take sudden impact, which gives you lethality on dashing.
true.
Uh,
I mean,
it's
it could be like the split push variation of it.
true. It's a give and take. You can't have everything, but each different rune gives a very significant impact. Or at least most of them does.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next line. Iron Skin, Mirror Shell,
It's
and Conditioning.
it's fairly straightforward, but um, it for this I think it just really depends on whether you can survive laning phase on your own without uh any help. Because if you have the problems that you're gonna get shafted in, you're gonna have a hard time dealing with the champion that hits you forever. Let's say Jace versus Maokai. That you just have to take Iron Skin or Mirror Shell depending on which resistant you want.
I know that some supports actually take the Iron Skin or yeah Iron Skin. Mirror Shell is fine as well against a really hard matchup. Like if you play Braum or Alistar vs like let's say Zyra or Lulu.
Ah yes.
So Mirror Shell is really good.
Conditioning. I think it's too late. It's like 10 minutes seems a bit far into the game for like the armor and MR to matter that much. Unless you are full tank. That's the only case where you might want it. If your plan is just to survive laning phase, just farm under turret, don't fight at all, then conditioning will be the case for you.
I mean it could be if you're like really confident that even if there's a bad matchup you can survive it without the thing.
That's true.
Yeah, so it is useful. So what is the conclusion here?
Uh,
It's like
it
situational runes.
very situational, depending on how much you think you can survive your matchup. Okay,
Okay.
moving on to the last line. This actually feels like a very weird case for me because uh by the looks of it, it's very specific to what role you're playing in the team, in my opinion. To
One thing I'm really curious about, right, is why people are not taking overgrowth.
I,
Oh wait, never
are
mind. I
they
just
not?
realized it's every eight enemy minions.
I'm
I
I,
thought it was for every minion.
I'm under the impression that second wind is the one that's flying under the radar, even though I think it's better than overgrowth.
Oh, I don't
Uh,
know. I think everybody's taking second win. Second win is just is like
it
Doran
looks
Shield
it
V2.
looks amazing.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, overgrowth. A point 2 max health. Let's say you have maybe 150 CS. That is roughly translates to maybe 4% health. Holy shit, that's actually very measly. Uh,
wait, let's do the quick maths on this. 150 divided by 8, so you get 18. It's like 18%.
it it
Sorry, it's wait, times 0.2. Oh yeah, it's like 3.75%.
that isn't good enough. I remember back in I think maybe season 2 or 3, I there were a few masteries that were hyped up as really good, but when you run the stats, they actually give like maybe 580 or something compared to something that gives significantly higher values for other stats. Overgrowth
Oh
would
wait, that's actually just sad.
what?
That's actually quite sad. Like, okay, I did the math. It's 45 HP if you have 1.2k HP and 150 CS. It's just 45 HP flat.
And it's okay. Second wind is outshadows overgrowth a bit too much. I mean, unless you're maybe Cho'Gath, where you can scale by max HP.
True. I mean, games do last until like there are some games where you get like 400 CS. Then there's like a very big significant difference.
Yeah, that's true.
But current meta, early game, so no.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, the next one, Revitalize, is
it is
like
fairly standard. It's
it's
for
either you take this or you take second wind. And this is like the what's this? Wind Speaker's
means
Blessing, yeah.
yeah.
So Soraka, Taric, Nami, it's just three things that came to my mind. Jenna as well. Yeah,
Sona?
these four. Sona,
Or will you actually go for inspiration or something? Or
yeah, I
more?
think you would go for inspiration. You wouldn't go for the resolve tree.
Yeah.
I think all the supports would go for inspiration, except maybe with the exception of Taric. So it's kind of sad because if you're playing a melee support, right, and you opt into the resolve tree because you can't exactly abuse AoE or whatever,
You only can use Guardian.
you would no. The thing is that you
Uh,
would have to take second win because you'll be playing against mage supports.
oh yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, so you basically have to take second win and skip over revitalize. So basically a dead rune there. At least in the current meta, I feel.
Let's hope it shifts to something more what do you call it? Stable, I guess. Where there's not
I
so
kind of like this
much.
meta though.
It's pretty fun. I agree with you with that.
Like it really tests the mechanics of the players. Although I think the AD carries will like really hate it. But yeah, it really tests the mechanics of the players, especially with the mid laners and top laners. I mean, hell, junglers too, like Kha'Zix, Kayn, shit, full lethality.
Everything is gonna fall on a very thin line and see who manages to like cross that line to beat their opponent.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay, let's move on to inspiration, and then we will conclude after that.
okay. Uh, we already talked about the keystones, kleptomancy, glacial, unsealed spellbook, so we can just move on straight to the runes.
Sure.
What do you think of Hextech Flash Traption?
Oh, I actually used it recently. It's kind of garbage. Like literally so situational, right? I think I only used it once that game.
I
Yeah,
tried
I
it.
used it.
I agree on you on
It's
that.
really bad because it's so slow. It's not like you channel and you instant. Actually, the way they designed it is probably better because you can like maybe do a short channel and flash like 2 cm or something.
Yeah. I'm thinking
I'm not sure if that's possible.
the only use for it would be like there's no other use for it besides just engaging, because if I'm not wrong, it goes on cooldown when you get hit by someone. So that means you only can use it as an engage tool, which means you need to
Yeah,
have some vision control of the area you are currently at to make use of it in the first place.
I mean it's just kind of sad. I think the only reason you will take this is if you were a jungler, right? And your flash was on cooldown. So
But
you could flash, do you use this cheap flash, right, over the wall, like
it
the Dragon Pit wall, to like
yeah.
have a cheese gank. But
Oh,
then
yeah,
again,
that
it
works.
requires you to have your flash to be down,
Oh my
which
god.
means you have to burn your flash in order to get the cheese gank off.
Or maybe
So
you can just flash through the wall. Just just pretend it's on CD. Just say, "Oh guys, it's on CD. I just used my flash option. It's totally not my flash, guys."
yeah, pretty much. Just bad rune.
Uh, but
Biscuit on the other hand though is really good. I
I
like Biscuit a lot.
yeah, I'm on
The other
the
two runes are just really OP.
yeah. I agree on you with Biscuit because there's just uh a lot of health is giving. 15% is no joke, and the 40 max mana, it helps some champions, I suppose. And it gives you a good laning tool to survive against your opponent.
I mean, Biscuit is the only reason why supports need to take this road. Like, legit, every support, any mage support should take this. Unless maybe you're like Zyra or Brand. Because the amount of mana and sustain it gives you, right, basically means that you're going to stay in lane for a really long time. Especially now that you can just start 3 pots. I mean, refillable buy is like really greedy. I think if you're playing a mage support, you should just go with 3 pots. And because of the cookies, I mean now they're all just normal potions. So the amount of mana this actually gives you back is really useful.
That's true. That's something I didn't consider. The lack of a Biscuiteer mastery. This replacing it basically. Uh,
Yeah, it's much better than the previous one as well.
will you take this on Rise just for the max mana?
I think stopwatch is really OP. I mean, you can like stopwatch ulti, like ulti stopwatch at like
Yeah,
level 6. So it's OP.
I think it's more specifically
The
6 minutes, not levels. But yeah, it also reduces the
six
cooldown
plus.
actually.
When's the time that you would hit level 6 though?
Not true, I guess.
Around maybe, oh no, it's around 8 minutes. I remember. Yeah, it's around 8 minutes. So yeah, you'll be able to use it by then.
Yeah, it's technically worth, I think, 300 gold. The item costs 600 if you buy it from shop, but this gives you like a wait, this gives you 300 gold off your completed Zonya or other items, and also provides you with reduced CD on those items.
Yeah, I think it's really good for, especially for Zonias. Just yeah,
Yeah,
this item is really good. This rune is really good. I mean, compared to the next line, yeah.
the next line is really weird. Will you value that 10 speed and 50 gold on magical footwear, or will you prefer to go to into depth just to buy more items?
So supports magical footwear is complete trash because usually you're looking to upgrade your boots as fast as possible after your sightstone.
That's
So
true.
Moby boots or Ionian boots of lucidity, or maybe like sock shoes if you're like Zyra or Brand. So this basically just prevents you from doing it. Okay, if you got a really big lead, or maybe you're playing Alistar, you want to go Moby's first item, you actually can't do that. So it's just bad rune, bad rune. For
Yeah.
supports at least. I'm not sure how it works for the other lanes, but I think boots itself is very important. Like if you're playing top lane and you have a hard matchup, you want to be able to buy Ninja Tabby.
That's true.
So
The
yeah,
delay will hurt
not
you.
good. Hmm. And if you're in mid lane, you have a hard matchup, you're against a Syndra, for example, you would buy Mercury Threads, right? Like notorious in Ryze vs Syndra matchup. Ryze always rushes Mercury Threads after like the tier or Catalyst and tier.
Isn't
So there's
that
basically no kill potential for Syndra.
yeah, but isn't there a case where you just build
Hmm.
a full Negatron cloak instead?
Yeah,
Will you do that?
there is, but I've seen many people build Merc Threads instead. I don't know.
Okay.
Because Ryze does build Abyssal Mass sometimes.
Okay. That does explain it.
Yeah, but the boots itself is very useless. Like even on junglers it's useless because junglers need the mobis or like the resistant shoes as well. Although I think you can kind of argue that by the time they want to upgrade it, the shoes will be there. But the fact that they don't have any boots in the early game makes a lot of difference.
I actually don't value boots that highly in the early game compared to more offensive stats like or defensive stats. Because while I see boots as extremely useful all arounder, basically if you can let's say if you get a bit more armor, let's say you buy a cloth armor against something like a Pantheon or a Lethality top laner, surviving longer might be slightly more efficient than being able to return to lane faster in my opinion. In that specific case.
I mean, yeah, if your goal is to survive, you wouldn't buy boots. You would buy like Tebai, like if you're against a Jace for example. You
Yeah,
wouldn't buy boots like on first back. The boots is if you want to roam or let's say if you have 300 gold and you prefer to buy like not buy a small component. Like if I'm a support, I wouldn't buy cloth armor because it only builds into it locket, which I'm not building until later on, right?
that's true.
And it affects the amount of time that it takes for you to roam. So boots is actually really important. That's why by a certain timing is actually expected for you to upgrade your boots because the tier 2 boots is very it's just really important. It gives you two things, give you movement speed and the resistance stats or more movement speed or slow resistance, CDR, magic pen, blah blah. It's really useful.
I mean, there is always the
Anyway,
you can
rune
technically
is just bad.
reduce it. Reduce the CD of you can get it earlier if you have takedowns, but I think that's a bit unreliable.
Oh wait, I didn't even realize that, but it's like 30 seconds. It's not like it's 1 minute.
Yeah.
If it was 1 minute, then yeah, maybe. But nah, not really. Not good enough.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hmm. Okay, the futures market.
I like this, but that is mainly because I feel this is the rune that allows me to remember to buy control wards. I have enough money left over to buy a control ward because yeah.
But then you would pay 125 gold for control ward.
Typically I already entered that, so but yeah. I'm not sure how it does it
It's like
cost 50 gold for every item you buy even when you're already in debt?
yeah, it's 50 more.
Oh damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, so if you buy three things, like 150
Oh, it's
just for lending it to you.
it's significantly worse than what I originally
I've
thought then.
seen people take this only because there's nothing else to take. Although I think the Cosmic Insight, which is on the next line, is already like the best thing to take
I've
besides the biscuit.
yeah, I've basically taken Cosmic Insight for almost every single. Okay, to be fair, most of my champions really rely on that CDR, but I've taken Cosmic Insight heavily.
Yeah, it's really really good rune.
But
So futures market and magical footwear, not good.
yeah, damn.
Okay, what do you think about the minion dematerializer though? I think it's really interesting. the way they made this rune or this item because it gives you an item, right?
I think so. My main problem with it
Like
is you can't use it at the very start of the game. Imagine if you want to push a lane and then you just instantly use a minion dematerializer on the creep itself.
I think that would make it too broken because my original um POV of it was that you could use it at the start of the game and you could use it instantly. So I would get six of it, right? I would instantly clear the first wave. And then I would just go and do something else after that. But that would make it really too broken already. Like almost like every lane could take that, right? And you would just instantly get pushing lanes for like the first um half half a minute or so, and then you could just invade their jungle for free.
Yeah, that's super true. But if everyone does that, it's just the first wave is non-existent for the yeah.
Yeah, it's just really broken. And somehow you have two people at bot lane, so they can do it for two times.
But since you can't use it, actually you 3 minutes into the game roughly, no 2 minutes and 35 seconds. With this
Yeah,
dude,
but once you use it, there's a cooldown.
oh yeah, good
Like, you
point.
have to wait a little bit more, like a minute or so, then you can use it again. That's why I said it's like kind of bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't value it too much. 4%. I guess it helps against maybe super minions, but if you're thinking
I
that
think the
far in the
only
game,
one that would benefit from this is Galio. So if you are playing tank Galio, right, and you are having trouble to clear the wave, especially the range minions, right, you use this to deal like more damage to them.
that's
I'm not
true.
sure if it actually helps you to clear them at a certain point in time, or like it extends the duration where you're able to kill them with one Q.
It is 4 seconds. I mean 4%. So I 4% is actually pretty low
I
considering a
mean, it
minion.
could be 10% because you could just use all of them on the range creeps.
I guess that's a possibility.
Oh
Uh,
wait, no, it'd be 9%.
Either way, it doesn't feel. The value seems a bit too low for it to be that good lah. I don't foresee much. I don't foresee many people even considering this at all.
Yeah, it's not useful.
Uh,
I tried this on support for a few times. The only thing that I think it was useful for was that first of all, you could shaft the lane really easily. Like the first time it came up, you just instantly use it, you get like a insta shaft. If your lane matchup is kind of even, or like you're not losing too hard, you just get insta shaft. But that's about it. Other than that, it's kind of useless. And you have to take relic shield if you're gonna use it because you'll
oh
just be stealing
yeah.
CS from AD. Yeah,
Then, but okay, all these three are actually pretty
pretty
meh.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh god. I don't
it's like
even know
the
which one I'll
resolve
take.
tree. Was it the resolve tree?
Uh
Oh wait, no, it's like the precision tree.
oh yeah, the
The
legends.
legends. Yeah, it's just really bad. Although at least this is like less one-dimensional, but more like it's kind of iffy, really clunky things that aren't
Yeah.
really refined. I think the best one out of this is like futures market, but you wouldn't use it. Like I actually took it, I didn't even use it the whole game, so useless.
I suppose if you just use it maybe uh
Buying pink wards, yeah, buying
yeah.
red wards when you don't have money. That's it.
Yeah, that's more or less it. Moving on to the last slide. Uh yeah, I more or less foresee Cosmic Insight as the number one.
I mean, what do you think about approach velocity?
Movement impaired ally champions or enemy champions that you impair. So that means okay. if you're playing something like Soraka, you don't get the movement speed until your teammates get CC'd, which feels it's conditioned that I mean you can always rely on your opponent to try CC your ADC and stuff, but
Wait, if it's impaired, doesn't mean it's slow.
slow works. I
Oh,
assume
okay.
most only silence doesn't work, I suppose, at that point.
Yeah. So I guess it's not that bad, but the range on it is the one that makes a difference. If maybe it
1k,
was like 2000 range, right? Then yeah, it's really good.
yeah. On the other
Like
hand,
situational, I guess.
uh, on the other hand, it also can apply on champions that impair. So that means
I
basically
mean,
you hit them with a slow and then you just run up to them.
which champion will want that though? Brom?
Brom.
I think I can see Brom doing that. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, this
eh,
works well with the Glacial Augment actually.
that's a good point.
Like if you're playing Trash, you
You
hit them,
just
you slow them, right? And then you instantly get the movement speed to run up to them. So you can like flay them and all hook, you know.
that's true. That
Oh,
actually
that's interesting. We
gives
actually found a good combination.
yeah.
Okay. So just a niche but has good synergy with the Glacial Augment.
Yeah, 10% movement speed. I'm thinking of something, but it is there a case where you can use that with celerity? But that means you have to give up your domination tree for it.
What do you mean you have to give up your domination tree for it?
I mean you can't take more than two trees, so you if you take celerity in the sorcery tree, it means you and
Oh, I
uh
mean,
yeah the approach
but
velocity.
what would you play though?
That's that's a very good question. Would Talon work? But then your W as a slow,
Yeah, it's not reliable because only
yeah.
the return slows them.
Oh, it's no longer. Damn, I've never actually checked that for a very long time. I thought
Yeah, it's
that
just the return.
yeah. Okay, that does explain a bit. Then the last one there is Celestial Body.
Oh,
100
this is
health.
actually bad.
I really don't like it because it just defines your playstyle.
Yeah, basically means that you cannot do anything. I mean, you can. It's just that you pretty much do like a lot less damage.
How good is it on champions that do true damage, for example?
Does
I
it lower your true damage? No, right?
I don't think true damage can be lowered. There's one very nice thing about it. So
Okay,
you can run it
so
with Cho'Gath. You get a health also as well.
the thing is that CSing would be a nightmare. So your wave clear is like effectively nil.
No, I don't think it actually affects it because it says champions and monsters, but that it doesn't
Oh wait,
mention
it's champions and
minions.
monsters. Oh, I thought it just reduced like your AD and everything.
No.
Okay, then that makes a difference then. Yeah, okay.
That's
Maokai, Cho'Gath, yeah. If you're in a really abusive lane and you can't do anything against him,
I know
just take this and sit tight.
I know someone who actually takes this on Vayne, but
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, it does seem kind of like understandable, you know. Like Biscuit and this, lots of sustain.
I don't think it's actually possible to yeah, that actually helps a lot. Your Vayne lane is becomes possibly decent with a support that heals you.
I mean, Vayne is one of the good ADCs into um assassins.
But how much will you value that plus 100 health on someone like Vayne? Because it's a stat that Vayne barely takes notice of. beyond laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that they're giving you 300 HP, which, if I'm not wrong, I have no idea what the gold efficiency of this is. I have to go and check it, but it is still a few hundred gold, so it is kind of worth
I
in that sense.
I think it's worth half of a ruby potion. No, ruby crystal.
Ruby
Sorry,
crystal, yeah, so it's like 200 gold.
I suppose around there.
Yeah, so 200 gold. Is it worth 200 gold to reduce your damage, but you get free 200 gold?
It's until 10 minutes, so
Yeah, like the first 10 minutes of the game. Do you actually need it? Do you actually need the damage?
I
The
guess
thing is that
yeah.
this makes it so that your reactionary play is much like worse. Like let's say if they decide to you you somehow end up in a 2v2, okay. You guys are just gonna lose the 2v2 because you have this stupid rune.
True. Yeah, there are two little ways you can. Maybe if it's a shorter duration, I think it's decent. Or if the meta dictates that everyone is playing for the late game.
I think if it's a shorter duration, it might be too good. Like if it's 5 minutes, it's too good already.
True.
Maybe like 9 or 8, it should be okay.
Yeah.
Although I think 10 is like how it would really define how you play the game with this rune. It just means that you would just really be a farm bot. You wouldn't trade, you just farm.
That means your support has to. Okay. If you're ADC, your support has to know that and maybe pick something for the sustain the long game. Or if you're playing something like Cho'Gath, it just means that you are
I think this will
switch.
only be taken by top laners. Oh wait, no. Depending on the bot lane meta or the bot lane matchup. If it's like two scaling ADCs, I think this is fine. Like if it was Island Sensor meta and they had this right, it'd be perfect.
That's true.
Because all the bot laners want to do is just farm. So
They actually managed a pretty good job with that. Uh,
but but yeah, meta shifting and everything, so nah, probably not.
okay, hypothetical question, but assuming the meta is slightly more geared towards mid and late game, what do you think of all these 10-minute runes? There are quite a few, I think.
If it's like
There's,
late game. So as in like Cold More kind of thing.
I see.
Is it?
Because, no, I'm thinking more of like a level 10 spike. Like, imagine if you're someone who uses like maybe Transcendence, uh, maybe Conditioning, in addition to this Celestial Body, like you just mix and match any of the 10-minute routes. You get a decent spike worth of gold at that point of time, but it's just in exchange you have a weaker early gamer.
Yeah. I mean, obviously then it would be a good option if the meta was in favor of that. So everybody would just take the scaling runes because they would give you, like enough to compensate for
Yeah.
what you would probably lose in the early game.
Okay then. Uh,
I mean, is that it?
I suppose we'll wrap this up now. Uh,
Sure.
okay, I'll post the VOD. I suppose tomorrow. It's a bit late already. So
Yeah, it's like 12:20. I kind of have school tomorrow as well.
yeah, it's surprisingly longer than I expected it to take. But it was good talking to you. I hope you can come back to my next podcast if I ever have one. So that's
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Okay. Thank you, and I'll be closing the stream right now.
Okay, well.